It was the perfect start for Heung-min Son and South Korea, who came from behind to beat Czech Republic 2-1 in the second game of the World Cup. They are now second in Group A, behind co-host Mexico. Czech captain Ladislav Krejci scored to put them 1-0 up. It's been a good start for the Wolves players, hasn't it, this World Cup? But Feyenoord's Im Byom-hwang got the equaliser just 8 minutes later. Very nice finish as well. West Ham's Thomas Souček thought he'd put Czech Republic ahead, but he was offside. And it was South Korea who got the winner then through Hyunju Oh, who had only been on the pitch for 11 minutes, and it finished 2-1. Very entertaining second half. Right, Dave, you just mentioned it. A new World Cup, new rules. How different are they? And we saw them in action, didn't we? On day one.
We did, yeah. We are only one day in, and one of the new VAR World Cup rule changes is already under a little bit of scrutiny. Now, these are what we're talking about in this current World Cup, but it's the one at the top which had a lot of fans talking. Now, a lot of people were left confused after a couple of goal kicks for Mexico looked like, and they were, clear corners for South Africa. Now, the rule is quite specific here. VAR can overturn corners wrongly given, not goal kicks that should have been corners, and only if done instantly and without delaying the restart. Now, the other thing to add, if the corner is taken quickly, then the decision cannot be changed. I know a lot of people were confused by this as the game went on. So the VAR can only intervene when the corner is wrongly given rather than a goal kick. But it worked the other way around last night, where it should have been a corner, but the referee gave a goal kick, and it couldn't have been overturned. It feels confusing for the viewer, and also, and I don't know what you think, but it's almost unfair, a little bit unfair if the rule's okay for one thing but not the other. Yeah,
doesn't make any sense to me, does it? The wording of it looks incorrect. And, you know, if you're only going to do it one-sided, that isn't going to work.
Who comes up with these ideas? I mean, do you think that could get changed? Well, because it's going to come back to bite them, isn't it?
Yeah, this is IFAB, the International Football Association Board, which has a number of members that sit on this panel and discuss new rules, and these are the people that have implemented it across the board for this World Cup. Look, I can't imagine anything would be brought in immediately for this World Cup. That would be very, very difficult.
I agree.
But you do feel like, as this tournament progresses, that might be something that is focused on, and it might be something that they look at a little bit more down the line.
What about the 3 reds? So, I mean, we hope that's not going to be a sign of things to come. What did you make? The second one was very debatable,
Tough,
wasn't it?
Yeah, and I thought the coach was spot on there. You know, he's kind of, as the attacker's gone, he's run across his path and he's got nowhere to go. So I felt a bit sorry for him, to be honest. And as he said, in the first World Cup game to get sent off, that's a hell of a blow. But if I was a coach watching, you know, a national coach watching that game last night, I would be working on my team having 10 men. And how we're going to go about scoring a goal or defending a lead, because it looks like, if that's the start of what we're going to see, a lot of red cards coming.
Well, that's the thing around consistency for this World Cup now. I mean, in the build-up to the tournament, the head of referees, Pierluigi Collina, was talking about red cards for hands in front of mouths when you're in a confrontation. There wasn't that much focus on tackling or denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. So after what we've seen now in the opening game, that's opened up another debate as to, will those decisions be consistently refereed like that across the board in this World Cup, which means we could see more. And as we've mentioned already, 3 red cards, and we only had 4 in total in the whole World Cup in Qatar 2022. So we're already almost at that level.
Yeah, but you also, these World Cups always sort of have phases of refereeing. You know, they kind of, like, we've had this early period of 3 sending-offs, and they'll be chatting amongst themselves, and suddenly it gets and then it gets easier as it goes on. So I think it will kind of even itself out, but it is a concern, that 3 reds in the first game.
The other thing in the build-up to the tournament was around ball in play as well. Referees and officials wanting to keep the game moving. We saw substitutions with players getting off the field quicker than maybe we've seen in the past. If we're looking at ball in play time, it was around 55 minutes for that opening game, for the whole game, which, you know, is around average for World Cup matches since 1966. It falls within a nice bracket. It's not too much or too little. The second game, actually, at the moment, we haven't had the figures confirmed, but it looks around 51 minutes ball in play time, which is actually a little bit below the average. You're looking at around 53, 54 minutes for average ball in play time at a World Cup since 66. So might be something to look at.
If you're not one of the better teams, that's pretty good. 51 minutes, you're okay.
Yeah.
You can survive 51 minutes. if you're a great offensive team, you want a 60-minute game.
And of course, added time takes into account the hydration break as well. And it's proven that there are more goals later in games in added time, proportionately to the amount of time that's given. So we'll see whether that happens as well.
Came in this morning, Dave got lost down a rabbit hole, ball in play time, 1966 onwards. It's quite funny to watch. Let's get to England. 5 days ahead of their opening fixture against Croatia. Spirits seem pretty high in the camp. Thomas Tuchel's made a big point about the squad being a band of brothers, and that is evident in the relationship between Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers. The pair grew up together in the West Midlands, and they are now both competing for the same spot, really, in the England starting lineup. Bellingham described what it was like competing with his childhood friend on the Lions Den podcast. He said, "I have no ill feeling when he's playing and I'm not playing, and I think that is a great representative of where we're from. It was always just pushing. We'd be there to support them, and I think that describes our relationship pretty well." Alan, it is interesting though, isn't it? He says that there, Jude, but effectively they are childhood friends competing for the same spot at a World Cup. It's an extraordinary situation.
And two absolutely brilliant players. I mean, the great news about Bellingham is, that he's had this injury at Real Madrid and he's had a rest and he looks fresh and ready to go. Rodgers has had probably the season of his life. So we've got two players in great kind of situations, different reasons. As you say, competing for that sort of forward attacking midfield role. I still think you could fit them in. But obviously, we'll see how Thomas sort of lines up the team. Rodgers has played off the left for Villa a few times and can come in as a number 10 from that position. And I think that's a possibility. Personally, I would love to see them play together. But we've also had this before in the past with Lampard and Gerrard, of course, and it didn't quite gel. And so it's a conundrum, that one. So
would you be tempted to start Rodgers ahead of Anthony Gordon on the left then, to get them both in?
Well, I think it depends on the opposition. I think if the fullback is particularly weak, I would play Gordon. If I think he was a really, really powerful fullback, we're not going to get a lot out of our wide player, then maybe I would, consider playing Rodgers to come inside.
It's good having the options, isn't it? I guess that is why someone like Rodgers, Eze, they're so valuable because they can play in more than one position.
Yeah, versatility. And I think Morgan Rogers gave an interview where he said that Jude Bellingham was at his 5th birthday party. I mean, the odds on two kids at a 5th birthday party going on to become full England internationals, I mean, it's so slim.
But not just England internationals, they're world stars, both of them. I mean, Rodgers could get a massive move this summer. I mean, Villa fans won't, pat me on the back for saying that, but it's possible. He's in that framework now of Bellingham, really, in the same level. Amazing.
A lot of talk about starters and finishers as well, aren't there? So it's very possible that one of Bellingham and Rodgers will be a starter, one will be a finisher. As a manager, as a head coach, how important is it to stress to those subs, those finishers, that they've got a vital role to play, but particularly in a World Cup where often it's who's on the pitch at the end of the field, which is the most important?
Yeah, of course. And just going back to what we started with, the sending offs, when you might be down to 10 men as well.
Yeah.
So it's important that you have a structure of what phase you're going to be in, and that the substitutions, or finishers, whatever you want to call them, are focused on what's to be achieved in the game. Henderson is not there, I don't think, to win us the game at the end of the game. He's probably in the squad to secure us the game. When he comes on the pitch, what's our format? What are we going to do? So I think all those things are talked through. I genuinely think that probably from the bench, France are the most powerful team in the tournament, but England are strong too, very strong from the bench. So it's good for the manager to have options.
Yeah. Attacking options for France are absolutely frightening, aren't they? Not long to go now until Scotland get their